This is a short demonstration of the basics of Atom for the support staff. So I guess I'll start with logging in. So it's defaulting to my username and the password. If you forget your password, you can just click on forget password. It'll then have you enter your text or your email, and then you should get the password. Or you can always come to me and I can reset it. But let's try this first. So then you go ahead and log in. Going to come to your home page when you log in, and I've kind of reduced the size of these so we can focus in on. So let's look at the overview here. So we have assigned tasks, your mess. This is all your stuff, your assigned tasks, your messages, your appointments, your work schedule. So for support, you probably won't have any appointments because you're not doing taxes. Work schedule, this will tell you what days you're working. So if I were to click on this, I'm not sure why it just logged me out. Let's try it again. Click on work schedule, and I'm scheduled to work on the 19th of December at 9 o'clock, and there's my time. So that'll be how you'll know your work schedule. And we try to post that hopefully a week in advance, and I go back to my home page, or you can click on the logo. Logo will also take you back to your home page. I'm not going to and then if you notice now it's 0 because you just read it, you just saw it, so now it's not considered new. Still have 2 open, meaning that you have 2 days I'm scheduled for the month. And you can actually change this too. So if I want to switch this to next 7 days, and I go back, it'll just say for the week. So whatever you want to do, you can control that. Now messages, I'll be sending messages or people. This is how you communicate to anybody in the office. So if you want to send a message to me, this is how you send a message to me. If you want to send it to Ethan or whoever, or if we send a message, if you see any orange here on your overview, click on it and figure out what do I need to do. So I click on here. In this case, I just sent a message to myself, said hello. I just click on the view. All right, telling me to work hard today. I then reply, or for the most part, you're not going to do any. You could delete. You want to read it, so reply, and I'll say, will do, Captain. Okay, and it's going back to me. If I wanted to send it to anyone else, I can just click on that, and it would go to that person. Don't do any of these over here, all right? You don't have to worry about anything like that. Just select the actual person. If you want to do more than one, you hold the control key on the keypad, and then you select another person. To unselect, you do the same with the control key. All right, I hit send. That comes back to me. So if you see here, I go back to my home page. It's going to say I have one new, or I have 3 because I have 2 I haven't read yet. Click on here. If you see the ones highlighted in yellow, that means they haven't been read. I click on the view. Again, now I'm just going to delete it. Now, if you want to compose a message, just click compose message. Select who you want to send it to. I'll send it to myself. Hello back. And then, okay. And then I hit send. So again, now I have a new message. So that's how you're going to communicate with people in the office. So if you want to change your work schedule, if you're not available anymore, send it to the person who's in charge of the work schedule, and we'll get that out to you and let you know who is. Go back to my home page, assign tasks. You probably won't get a whole lot of these. For the most part, it'll just be this one. But if you do see anything in here and it says new, or meaning if you have any open, so in this case for messages, I have 3 new. That means I haven't read them. I have 29 open, meaning I have 29 messages. I've read most of them other than 3. So 26 I've read. So you can delete them once you've read them, unless there's a reason to store it. Assign tasks. If I click on this, this is going to tell me so someone called and they need to return their call, whichever these are meaning new. I haven't looked at them yet. You can see the notes right in here, and you click on the view, that actually sends you right into their file. I'm not going to focus on that because you probably won't get too many assigned tasks. But if you do that, you just click on this, that'll shoot you right into their file. Go back to the home page. This is where you're going to focus mostly on right here. for the basics. I just tell you what this is, office events. I click on this. This is going to expand it. This collapses it. You can do this. This is just the flow in our office of doing taxes from the time they drop it off all the way to the time they finish. You probably aren't going to get involved in any of this, but just so you know, that's what it is. This is just the way we track the return from start to finish. So all these are actually important depending on what's going on with the return. But again, you probably won't be involved. You can just collapse this if you want. Or if you want to see kind of what's going on, you can leave it open. Down here, office communications, and you don't need to do anything up here. Just leave this the way it is. Office communications. This is going to tell you, this is how the client communicates with us. So the client portal, which you should get familiar with, we'll show you in another video. That's how the client sends us documents, how they electronically sign their tax return. It'll tell us if they're communicating with us, if they're asking a message or they're sending us documents, it'll come right here. So in this case, I don't have anything new. I have one open. If I click on it, this Lisa right here, she must have done, if I click on the view, so she uploaded a document to me. We assigned it to Ethan. With the basics, you aren't going to get involved in any of that. Okay, maybe your second year. Prospects, that's if a new client is asking questions on our website. Texting, if the clients text us questions or send us their documents by text, it'll come through here. It'll say if it's new. I sent one this morning from my phone. This Johnny Tester right here. I click on the view icon. It says good morning. I go back. Email, again, if they communicate with us by email, and then fax, and then phone calls. So this is where you're really going to focus. This is going to track how many phone calls we have for the day. So it's going to reset every day. So when we're busy, we're going to have over 100 incoming calls. This is both incoming and outgoing. So that actually, so it'll have one meaning incoming, the 0 means outbound, and the last, whoops, and this one right here, the last one means missed. If you click on this, this is where you're going to focus in on for support. This is going to show you who's making the calls. So you'll be able to see how many phone calls you've answered or you've made. So inbound, outbound. So this also tracks how many calls come into the office, what time they come in, what they're selecting, whether it's an appointment or support, and then who's calling in. So the main thing you want to focus in on right here, user call log. So it'll show if you've answered any calls today, and it'll show also who has. So if Marcella's cranking 100 and you're doing 30 and you both work the same number of hours, something ain't right there. So either you're doing other projects or you accidentally had your phone on unavailable, but we like to keep it a nice even balance if that's all you're doing is answering the phones. Now, obviously you might be doing something else. But anyway, that's what the call count is all about right here. And it'll tell you how long you've been on the call and everything. So if I were to click on this, it'll actually give me more detail. So I'm gonna go back to my home page here. All right, and now I'm gonna actually make a call from my cell phone. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. So I'm calling the office, and I definitely would suggest you call the office too so you can hear what it sounds like. I'm gonna put it on speaker here. I don't know if this will be picked up.
Calling X-Tax. To better serve you, please make a selection. To schedule an appointment, press 1. To check your refund status, 2. For all other customer service needs, press 3 or remain on the line. To repeat this menu, press 4.
I'm gonna hit 3.
Please hold while we connect you to the next available customer representative.
I'll go over this call status in a minute, but I had to make myself available, and you actually click on the phone tab. You have to open that up, otherwise you will not be able to answer a phone call. So now it's ringing, and so I see it's incoming here. I answer the call. I could decline a call. For most likely, you're just going to answer it. This is telling me who's calling in, so my phone number is associated with all these different accounts. So I'm going to hit answer call.
X-Tax support.
Hello? Hello? So from here, now you got an echo going. I'm going to take the speaker off. All right, so I can click. Typically, you'll just have one client, and you'd click on that, and you'd shoot right into their file. So I'm going to go into X-Tax. Now I'm going to hang up. Okay, so now I'm in the file. All right, that's how so basically the client will call in. You'll know who they are because it says their name up there. Most likely you can just confirm it's them. So if this is this Mark Perico that I'm speaking to? And then usually they're going to want to schedule an appointment. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to go actually into a client file that I'm going to schedule. Actually, I could schedule here. So to schedule it, if I'm inside their file, I would come over here to Quick Actions, and then I select Schedule, and it's going to pop this up. And then right now, here's my appointment calendar. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and pick. So let's say they want to come in at 9 o'clock. I've already have it in their file. It says it's a 120-minute return. I select who. Right now, I only have a student on here on the calendar, but during a normal tax season, you'll have several preparers. You just, if they request a specific one, then you're going to put it with that person. You also, let me select this. So the appointment type, you need to know, are you coming in person? Do you want to do this on the phone, online, or sit in our parking lot and drop it off and sit there while you, because some people don't want to come in the office now. Say they want to do it in person. Send a confirmation. That means I would send an email and a text to confirm it, so they would receive that, so they know that you actually booked the appointment. They also get a reminder a day before of their appointment, and if you have any notes, you just type it in right here. And then here's their cell phone, everything right down here. So email, that's how you can verify everything. Don't worry about this information here. And then you'd go ahead and book it. Difficulty, this should come forward if it's a prior client. If it's a new client, you'd select new, and we default it to 60 minutes. But and we'll go over this later. Difficulty is based on how easy the return is. So 1 is very easy, 2 is pretty easy, 3, everybody can do 1, 2, and 3. 4, we would put that with a senior preparer. 5 would be only probably Mark. All right, so if they request a specific person, then you check this box. That's very important. If you don't check that box, then anyone's going to grab that return, but they say, I really need Mark to do the return, you need to check that box, and then everybody keeps their hands off it, and then Mark gets notified that you just scheduled the appointment for Mark, so he knows. Otherwise, it's just on there and anybody grabs them. Then I just hit save. Now it's on the appointment calendar. And speaking of appointments, let me go back to my home page. So right here under calendars, appointments are right here. These are client appointments. This will tell you by the day. If it's shaded, that means there's something going on that day. If I were to go back to the 13th, then I had a couple appointments. If you notice, this was a phone appointment. This means it's an in-person appointment. If you hover over, it's going to tell you what the note is. And if you go back to the 14th, so for X tax here, if you see there's an R in parentheses, that means it was requested. That means the student needs to do that, because I don't have Mark on here. This student needs to do that tax return. It's requested. Okay, and then here's our Christmas party later on today. For other appointments you'd want to be interested in, work schedule. This will tell you who's working today. So this is the entire office. If you want to just look at yourself, you hit filters, and then it'd be user right here. But in your case, you can see your work schedule on your home page. But this would be if you want to see who's coming in today in the office to do phones or do taxes. You'd come to the calendar and hit work schedule. One other thing I didn't point out is punch clock. So usually when you log in, you're going to hit punch clock again. You're going to select where you're sitting, select what you're doing today. In this case, it'll probably be phones. And then you don't have to type a description, then you just punch in. So this is going to then show, this down in out board is going to show everybody who's working today, who's punched in, and the call status says if they're available or not. So you want to probably make yourself available. But you can quickly just click on, if I get out of here and I hit punch clock and punch clock again, I can see if someone forgot to make themselves available or not. But you can see when they're coming in, or if they punched in or they didn't punch in, and where they're sitting. Other than that, one other thing I want to point out for the basics is, I kind of did, but the phone, if I close this out, so when you're ready to start answering the phone, you want to click on this. Yours might not be flashing, mine is, to remind me to click on the phone. So you got to open up the phone tab, otherwise you can't answer the phone. It will not ring at your station. Then you want to make yourself available so the incoming calls, if it's transfer only, that's what our preparers do. That means They can accept intercom calls, but they will not get incoming calls. If you make yourself unavailable, like if you need to go to the restroom, make yourself unavailable so the call does not come to you. And then when you get back to your desk, make yourself available again. And to intercom, I don't think I'll be able to cover it with this, but for here, if you have an incoming call, if you hit intercom with an agent, that means you're going to transfer the call to, say, a tax preparer. You click on that. You then would select whoever's here in the drop down. So in this case, the only ones that are available to transfer would be Nicole or Porter here or Ethan. And then you hit intercom with agent, that then it gets transferred to that individual. And the best thing to do is just practice that within the office, but that's how we transfer calls. All right, so I'm gonna make myself unavailable here, close it, and that basically are the basics. There's more to learn, but if you want to search for a client, usually when they're calling, you'll see their name right here, but if you need to search, you just hit search, and then you enter their last name, first name, or the access code is their social security number. We typically don't ask for that over the phone. It'd be the last four is all you'd want to ask for. And then these are the most recent, 10 most recent. I won't go over favorites, but you can tag certain clients as favorites if you want. But the most recent, you can go back and click on it and go in their file. And that is it for the basics.